Module 3, we're going to talk about self assessment and observational grading. As we go through this section, I want you to keep in mind these look fors. Remember, these are great to put in that Padlet reflection at the end of each of the two sections inside of Module 3. So, what I want you to be keeping in mind is what you notice about how these are different from how we might traditionally assess our students. And this one is a really big one in being different from how we kind of traditionally think about assessment for our students. First, we're going to talk about self assessment. And this is where students are doing an assessment based on their work. So they're completing their assessment of their work, whether it's the process or the product. So I never took French, so I apologize if I butcher this pronunciation, but Papadiantou Luca said, when students know the state of their own knowledge, they can effectively self direct learning to the unknown. And what more do we want as teachers than to have students be self directed in their learning, to understand better what their areas of strength and weakness are so that they know what they need to focus on as far as improving themselves in their own education and knowing what to focus on. So, self assessments can help students analyze what, when, how, and why they learn so that they can become better learners because they have that metacognition, that understanding of how to best effectively learn for themselves. They also will identify their areas of growth as well as their areas of improvement. So they'll identify where they're going, getting stronger, and where they may still need to do some work, which is great when we think about tutoring or office hours. Students are becoming their own self directed learners and they know what questions to ask or what areas to ask for help in instead of that generic, I don't know. This can also help us focus on the process and not the product. It gets students thinking about the how they got there rather than just on that final product. It also allows us to have conversations with students about their grades and where those grades came from. Grades aren't just happening because students are a part of that conversation from the beginning. And we can build these self-assessments throughout our curricular unit, throughout our um, maybe project or presentation or essay writing. So there's a lot of different options. So, what does student self assessment look like, especially when we're talking about in Schoology? I've got a couple examples that I'm going to show you now. One example I put together was based on an AP English rubric. Now, you can do this with any rubric, with any project, with any writing process. This one just happened to be kind of a quick and easy one. The great thing about this is I can have students doing this reflection multiple times throughout. Maybe we're writing a specific piece of our essay and I just give them a one question self-assessment where they're reflecting on how one piece of their writing is going and they're identifying those places that maybe they need to improve. So we'll take a quick look at it and then I'll explain just a couple key details in how I set it up. So in this one, we have adjusted the multiple choice formatting so it's in that block setting. And on the AP English rubric, it's for the thesis, it's 0 points or 1 point. So students would come in and they would assess themselves. Do they get the 0 or the 1? The next question is about evidence and commentary, and I've included the descriptions for each of those, and the students will choose where they think they fall on that rubric from 0 to 4 points based on the descriptors. In the final section, it's about sophistication. And again, students see the rubric with the included commentary about what those pieces should look like, and they can award themselves a grade. So let's take a look at what that setup looks like, especially on this evidence and commentary. This is simply a multiple choice question that I've used those multiple choice formatting settings on. I did come back after the fact and make it 4 points so that students could accurately see what their score on the AP rubric would be. There are 6 total points for the AP English rubric, so this is based on that. Now, I might not actually use this for a grade. I might not give students the grade that they have put on here, but it offers me an opportunity to get um, a little view into how students are thinking about their writing and into a conversation piece between myself and students about what's going well and what maybe they still need to work on. So here again, I set up my multiple choice options to have those criteria that were included on the AP rubric. Again, you can bring this in from any rubric or you can create your own rubric. Down here at the bottom for the layout, I chose block, and number of columns, I chose 5. So I would have a column for 0 to 4 points. And then I chose 4 points as the correct, so they get 100% or those total 4 points. For 3 points, I made that an alternate 1 and I awarded 75% credit. For 2, 50% credit. And for 1, 25% credit, so that it will calculate the math and give them the assigned point value based on what they chose. So again, at the end, they can see that point value. One other piece that I may consider including is after each question, a short answer essay. And with that short answer or essay, I can ask students to explain their score, the score they chose, and why they chose it. So students would explain, and they could even give examples from their writing in this piece. And again, this gives me an opportunity to see what kids are thinking about their learning. And I could again do that after each of those pieces. Um, so that again, I'm getting that input from students about their learning, and they're really thinking about the process of their learning. So this is one example of a student self-assessment where I've taken that rubric. And again, it would be very beneficial if after we wrote the thesis, I have students analyze their thesis and explain their score so that they're giving that feedback and we can have a conversation while they're in the process and not just at the end when it comes time for the